Hello, everyone, to September 24 Ignite community call. Today is September 26th, and this community call is hosted by me, Tobias Schwarz, Solutions Engineer at Ignite. And also in the call, we have my boss, actually, who is Michelle Leach. And if I have any trouble, she'll help me out.
Yeah, I'll troubleshoot.
So what are we covering today? Maybe if you've seen the last community call, we might have some of the same content, but it's still accurate, it's still new, it's still coming up. So yeah, a couple of news. So Ignite version 29 is coming. We are working as closely as we can with the Cosmos SDK development. And if you have followed the Cosmos SDK development, you might have noticed that the version 0.52 is around the corner. And we are integrating that already. So as soon as that's released, we want to also give that to you, that power of the new version 0.52, which comes out with a lot of advancements. And yeah, just for you to play around. If you have a running chain already, you can use Ignite to see if your modules work as expected, or maybe just put them kind of in a new environment to see if with 0.52 everything works as fine as usual. Or if you're working on a new chain, even easier, just use Ignite version 29 coming soon, and you'll be using 0.52 immediately. Last community call, I've been talking about a bounty. Hello, Julian. It's great timing, but I'm just summing up what we're talking about today. So Julian is leading the bounties. So any questions, mostly on GitHub, Julian will be here for you, or also in Discord, or maybe in this call. So the last bounty has been claimed. It was about creating an in-testnet of a chain. So if you have a chain and want to start a testnet, these commands are just for you. So the new bounty will also be similar to that, not similar, but kind of an expansion of the latest bounty. And you'll see why. I will show you the exact details for the new bounty that is around the corner. Building consumer chains with Ignite CLI is still a very hot topic, and we have new content for you. New Ignite apps and extensions, which are in the work spaceship, that lets you deploy your chain immediately on any server. Connect, that lets you easily connect to other chains in the ecosystem. And the module registry, which would allow you to swap in and out modules. But even further, having a list of modules can be really helpful because there's so many out in the ecosystem. And it's not being tracked right now. What are the differences? Which chains are using what and why? So the module registry can be really powerful for developers. Cosmos Kit is coming for front-end. So if you're working on a Vue or React front-end, Cosmos Kit will make your life easier. Currently, you can create a front-end with React or Vue using Ignite, and then you'll be using the Kepler wallet. With Cosmos Kit, we will expand this to more or less all the wallets in the ecosystem. Our modules are also up to date now. They didn't get as much love as they should, but part of that is the fundraising module. Maybe that's interesting for you. The code has been audited, and yeah, it can just be very helpful. And on the last note, don't forget to fill out the developer survey. It will bring us great insights into your problems, your issues, or also what you find great, what we should explore, or what we should be focusing on next. So make sure to fill out the developer survey. It helps us tremendously knowing what our users want or what problems they find using Ignite.
Hopefully no problems using Ignite, right?
Hopefully. So for the coming version 29, yeah, we'll be staying up to date with the Cosmos SDK version 0.52. We are considering to make fee-grant a default module with Ignite. Fee-grant helps to have kind of dynamic fees on your blockchain instead of a fixed default by validators. We are speeding up our work on documentation. We hope you find our documentation very helpful, but we are always tirelessly working on improving it so it becomes even more easy and more logic to use. We have new tutorials. I can show you a bit later. And the fundraising module is now up to date with our latest Ignite version, so you can just import that into your chain. I forgot to mention, I should always say this at the start. This is a community call, so it's for the community, but also everyone is invited to just join, ask questions, or also comments. So feel free to unmute yourself if you're interested, if you want to talk, if you want to ask a question, if you have some comments. Feel free to. We're here just for that. So yeah, the latest bounty has been claimed for $3,000 US, and the next bounty is just around the corner. Congrats to, he should, I forgot his name, it's complex. I like to eat fish, I think was his name.
Yeah, I like to eat fish.
Yeah, it's a GitHub handle who, congratulations, won the latest bounty. So let me quickly, or Julia, do you want to take this? Else I'll just read through. Okay. So in summary, this bounty seeks a developer to implement a multi-node testnet feature for Ignite CLI. The goal is to extend existing Ignite testnet command, which was the latest bounty, with a new Ignite testnet multi-nodes subcommand, allowing developers to easily set up and manage multiple validator nodes for testing purposes. Description: we propose extending the Ignite CLI with a multi-node testnet feature, enhancing the testing capabilities for Cosmos SDK-based blockchain applications. This feature will allow developers to create and manage multiple validator nodes, observe their behavior, and simulate various network conditions. A bounty of $3,000 will be rewarded to the developer completing this issue. Requirements: extend the Ignite testnet command with a new Ignite testnet multi-node subcommand. Implement a new multi-node section in the config.yaml file to specify validator configurations. Create an interactive screen using the Charm Bracelet Bubble Tea library to display logs from multiple validators simultaneously. Fourth, implement functionality to dynamically kill and restart nodes to observe chain performance. Oh, this is so cool. Fifth, ensure compatibility with existing Ignite CLI features and workflows. And as a bonus, add the ability for nodes to join the network after initial setup. So if you're interested in that, I think this sounds tremendously helpful. And I know a few chains that had trouble setting this up in the past. So this is incredible to get in. Anyone who's interested, feel free to comment if you like to start working on this issue. Even though we haven't talked about this, the first two people's already tried to work on this. So if you want this, be quick and good and follow the instructions as described in this issue in the Ignite CLI repository 4374. And thanks, Julian, for creating this great instructions and very useful feature. So apart from your regular chain, so we have a few commands ready for you to create new projects. You can, by default, if you do Ignite scaffold chain and then your chain name, it will be the default chain. You will have more or less what the Cosmos Hub offers as modules on your chain. If you don't want all those modules, you can try the minimal command. Then you have kind of a short, only the most necessary modules for your chain to work. And then you can use the consumer flag. This will create a consumer chain. If you're aware of ICS, the interchain security in the Cosmos ecosystem, it would allow you to have one chain, which is the host chain. We call this the provider chain. And then sharing the same validator set, you can launch as many chains as you want, and they are called consumer chains. Those chains use the same validator set. So as soon as they are updated on the provider chain by RBC, they will be updated on the consumer chain by the same way. And therefore, a consumer chain does not need their own validator set. They will just kind of rent the security from other chains, and the validators in current version are mandatory to run the chains. Else, the same security applications usually apply. Each provider chain can choose if they want to have consumer chains / soft / or hard /. So that means after being offline for a certain amount of specified block, they get soft /, which is usually around 0.1%. And for hard /, which is mostly coded as 5% loss for everyone trying to fork a live chain. That means splitting the chain from the same point in time and then try to attack the chain. This is absolutely forbidden. In the Cosmos ecosystem, you will get an immediately hard / and you cannot recover from that as a validator. You will lose in all the delegators 5% of your tokens. So you won't try that, and probably not for long, because it's way too costly. So this kind of allows for a set of good, robust, decentralized validators to secure multiple chains the same way, by a provider chain and multiple consumer chains. So build your own consumer chain. We have also in the tutorial you will see here, I will guide you through how to set up a provider chain, then create your consumer chain and hook it to the provider chain, just as exercise to learn what is happening along the steps. So feel free to check out the tutorial, build your interchain security consumer chain on our tutorials.ignite.com website. We have around 16, 17 tutorials there for you to learn everything around the Cosmos ecosystem and Ignite. I'm tirelessly building more for you in the coming weeks as well. We are still working on more apps. We actually have lots of great ideas and not enough time to build them. So if you are building an app, because it's open, you can do so. Head to github.com/ignite/apps. Oops. github.com/ignite/apps. There you will find our apps, but also a couple of apps for you to get started. So they're like templates. You have 3 templates for different kind of logic. You can browse through them and see how you add commands, how you add certain hooks, and or just a default template for building your own app. What does this app do? It extends the commands of Ignite CLI. So Spaceship, for example, it will connect by SSH to a given VPS provider in the cloud. And Danilo has written this. He made sure that nearly all cloud providers are covered in Spaceship. So let's say you want to deploy to AWS, to DigitalOcean, to Microsoft Azure, to whatever provider you have. Most of them are covered with Spaceship. Then you enter your credentials, and then you say Spaceship deploy, and it will upload everything to your chain, to your VPS, build it, and run it. And you can start and stop your chain using Spaceship. It's already ready by now, so feel free to use it. It's more or less in beta mode. I'm not entirely sure if Danilo has said go for publication, but I think it's ready. So you can try it out and give us helpful feedback. If you need any more logic in there, if you need any commands, for me, I think there's sufficient logic there for deploying your chain on any VPS. Connect then will allow you to connect your chain to other blockchains and or in general, get any data from all the blockchains that you have out there. And the module registry, as well as already explained, will allow you to, first of all, see a lot of modules, but then hopefully swapping them in and out in the most easy fashion. And I'm really looking forward to that. I love to see different modules and how they play along, how they react to each other. So swapping them in and out quickly would be so handy to battle test even more configurations of different modules. So let's have a look at our tutorials website, and I highly recommend to subscribe, because then you'll be notified if we upload a new tutorial. So as just mentioned, the newest tutorial is built to your interchain security consumer chain. So in here, you will see Ignite scaffold chain, consumer, and in here, skip pronoun module. This is the fastest way to skip to create your consumer chain. As an example, CCV is it's a very common name for consumer chains. So this would be a direct example of scaffolding the CCV chain, which would be a consumer chain. In order for you to learn how they all kind of work together, I've provided also a makefile for installing the interchain code base to your computer. And from there, you can use interchain security different binaries to start a consumer or provider chain. And I've given you a predefined script which would go through all the steps of creating the provider chain. So that means, first of all, you'd have to create the chain, create validators, run the chain, or create GenTX, run the chain, delegate, add Genesis, and so forth, and then start the chain. So after this is all what the script does. It's just a simple bash script. So you can browse through this, what it's doing. And afterwards, you would create a proposal on this provider chain to onboard a consumer chain. And this has to follow certain logic, and I'm explaining all this into the tutorial as well. So you need a certain kind of proposal with the right binary, with hashes and so forth, and a Genesis file. And then once that gets accepted, you have to start that at a certain block height. And only when enough validators come online, the chain is started. So feel free to learn how all this works. The best of it is when you're joining a live network, you obviously don't have to start the provider chain. If you're working on a consumer chain, you can just use Ignite to scaffold your consumer chain, work on it, and then kind of follow the procedure for creating the proposal and a Genesis file. And so you don't have to do the setup anymore. But in order for testing it, I always think it's helpful knowing kind of what you're getting into. So I've provided these scripts for starting a provider chain and then hooking up your consumer chain. There's tutorials also on building your first Ignite app, or governance module, how to create and manage proposal, how to upgrade your chain by proposals, and many, many more on creating modules, or how Ignite works in general, how different consensus mechanism works in the Cosmos ecosystem. Feel free to check them out and just learn a bit about the Cosmos ecosystem. If you want to leave us feedback, we would be happy to receive feedback about things that are not working great in your opinion, or things that are working great and that we should double down on. So let us know. I have given the feedback survey below, but you will also see them if you upgrade to the latest Ignite version in your CLI. You can opt out of seeing that in the CLI, but for us, it's a great way to ask for feedback, and it's so needed for us to know if we are going into the right direction for developers. So would be greatly appreciated if that is filled out by people that use Ignite. So this is already at the end of the latest updates of the last 30 days. If you have any questions, just let me know. All right, if there's no questions, I would say we'll see you on Discord, we'll see you on X, or on YouTube. Thanks for following, thanks for sharing, and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
We can also
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.